Welcome to a Stone Soup open mic for July 7th. It's a quieter night tonight. We are going to be picking up the pace next week with feature Andrew K. excuse me, with feature Andrew K. Peterson, who some of you might know from the Boston Poetry Marathon. Andrew K. Peterson was an organizer for one of those years. He's been a participant for others. He has a new full-length collection, a blue nocturne notebook coming out actually out now. He'll be with us next week. Not sure what's going to happen on the 21st, but on the 28th, we just got confirmed that Laura Kiesel, poet, journalist, essayist, and author of a brand new book, the Swallowing the Stem of Adam's Apple, is going to be available to purchase. It's available to purchase now, but she's going to be able to read from it. And I'll be posting links because it's an open mic tonight. I'll be posting links I should have posted for past features, Patricia Kerrigan and Russell DuPont. I'm still getting used to the way of promoting online exclusively and not just throwing books and throwing a hat to pass around and baskets. So still getting used to that. You think I would be used to it by now, but I'm not. But we're getting there. And also, I should mention on the Stone Soup Facebook page, there's an invitation to go to Didi Galloway's house. She's having a 2-day art show for June 10th and June 11th, if you're able to make it. The address details are on the link, very discreetly put.
You mean probably July, right? July 10th and 11th?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, July 10th and 11th. Did I say June again? I don't know why I'm still stuck in June. I hated that month. But anyway, I don't know why. I don't want to be stuck in that past. So, as I said, June, there are many months in a year, and June's one of them. Anyway, so we have those two features to look forward to, and hopefully some more to be announced. I'm hoping for a double feature for August to help close out our summer in style. And I am hoping for a halt in the strain of the Delta virus strain, so we can actually have a live Stone Soup in September. I am keeping that close to the chest. And if the people, mostly because the people who I want to feature are already on this call and they already know. James Van Looy with his performance of the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and Carol Weston, just being Carol Weston. That's all I care about. Those are the two ones I want live, and hopefully that will happen live, and hopefully we'll be able to film it as well. I'm gonna be working out the schematics for that later. But until I feel like there's an old clear and that our most immunocompromised people will not be endangered, we're keeping things close to the chest. So with that, we're going to do the round robin open mic. Thanks to those who answered my arbitrary call for to join us tonight. It's thundering and lightning out. So let's get started. Thanks, Jan, for coming. And we're going to start with one of the first people to join on the open mic. And his work is actually out in the latest Ibbotson Street Press, which actually features work from myself, Tim Gager, Harris Gardner, who also was instrumental in putting it together, Marsh Piercy, and a host of others. Let's welcome up Mr. David Miller.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So the title of this poem is, pardon me, it comes directly from a newspaper headline. And the first line of the poem is a quote from the headline. And then it goes on from there. Cow crashes through roof, kills sleeping man. I didn't bring my son up to be killed by a falling cow, his grieving mother tells the press. No one brings children into the world to be crushed by plummeting bovines. Neither does anyone cultivate livestock on purpose to drop them on civilians unconscious in their beds. But perhaps we need to be reassured on this point. Brown-eyed Elsie as agent of the state? Clarabelle weaponized? It strains credulity. As the poem unfurls, all it knows of this depends on screens mirrored in screens, arrays of flickered pixel dust. That cow could be simply a scare quote cow, just to briefly advocate on the devil's behalf. Rationally, a corpse could be a corpse, a mother, crisis actors, 3,000 pounds of staged animal. Now the poem is skeptical. It also wonders about its reader, whatever that claims to be. Reader, more likely a simulacrum of alleged empathy for proposed mother, man, cow, coffin. Others say so. The poem now thinks it hears sounds of hooves overhead, iron tearing, screams, sudden moonlight pools the floor. But the poem scrolls past all that. There's no definitive proof. Thanks.
Man, woman, cow, man, woman, cow, camera, TV. No one ever asked what happens after the cow jumps the moon. You know, when will nursery rhymes learn? Anyway, thank you so much for that, David. We are moving on. I'm enjoying my vegan veggie tacos between poems, and I have no idea what's in it, but I never had that problem when I was doing fast food, so I'd be a hypocrite if I complained. I like the tacos. Anyway, enough about my food. Let's move on to the next poet I have on the list, and that would be Miss Jan Rowe. Don't forget to unmute yourself, Jan. There you
Hi.
go. Hello.
This is a bit rough. This is from the writers group week before last, because last week I was in Lower Slower, Delaware. So this is kind of rough. Do hedge funds have a greed addiction?
Oh, Jan, hey, can you start your video? I might have stopped your video by accident. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Resume.
Do hedge funds have a greed addiction? Let's go work at Amazon so we can urinate in bottles. No, not for drug testing though. For no time. Got no time to pee. Thank you, Guess Who, for the song American Woman. Nursing was like that sometimes, many times, but the hourly wages are usually much higher than at Amazon's for nursing. An Amazon worker in New York makes $19 an hour. She lives in her car. Full-time workers cannot afford housing. Not anywhere in the USA does full-time minimum wage cover rent. Sometimes maybe two full-time minimum wage can cover the rent. Strategy, keep the worker poor and exhausted. Thank you, hedge funds like Blackstone and BlackRock that have thousands upon thousands of homes. The CEO of Blackstone, Schwartzman, stood behind Trump at the inaugural. The hedge funds plan on getting possession of more homes and say mom and pop homeowners will be the first acquired as easier than stealing from corporate landlords. The hedge funds gobble up houses, releasing a few here and there for potential buyers to fight over and boost the asking price. Thank you. It's a little rough.
Don't apologize.
Very nice. And who do we have next? Yes, let us welcome up all the way from the West Coast, a Past Don't Soup feature. But actually, one of the last times he performed was actually in one of our last known locations in the coffee shop, the Brewed Awakening. I think that's what it was called. It was, or is it off from the? I can't remember. It was a dead coffee shop in Cambridge. Amazing place. Miss it still. Miss this guy still. Glad he can join us for the open mic. As a lightning's flashing in the background. This is kind of cool. Ominous. Let's all be ominous from now on. That's my writer's call for submissions to the open mic. I think this guy will be ominous. He does a lot of political writing, and the theme for the next 4 years is going to be ominous. Let's welcome up Mr. Mark Lipman.
Hey, thank you, Chad. And thank you so much for inviting me. About 30 minutes ago. That was wonderful. I'm glad to be part of this. Thank you for the reminder. And I'm very happy to follow Jen. Jen, I love that poem, especially because Amazon is taking over Culver City, where I'm living here. It's Culver City is like a little tiny city in the middle of Los Angeles on the west side. And Amazon decided, Apple and Amazon decided that they were going to make this their central hub. So they're going after us like crazy here. So a lot of solidarity, East Coast, West Coast. Just a quick announcement. My new book, Dear City Council, just came out like 3 days ago on Monday. I just received it from the printer. And this deals primarily with what's going on locally. It's a mix of public comments, selected poems, and essays dealing with what's happening here on a local basis, but it speaks to all communities. And it deals with housing justice and racial justice. One of the poems from the book here that I don't believe anyone on this call has heard before is what I'm going to share with you right now. It's called In Times of War and Homelessness. In times of war and homelessness, truth is always the first victim. As the casualties pile up in our collective consciousness, memory has the lifespan of a goldfish, forgetting itself with each subsequent news cycle, spun around half lies and whole falsehoods. The politician is never too far away to pat himself on the back, taking credit for what he has never done, or at best was forced to do, selling cheap words and platitudes to the suffering masses who must make do with unkept promises in a shrinking waistline while stretching bread lines lick an empty shelf. Compassion dies behind tall walls that separate the eyes from the heart, as those with more shorten the table to stuff their faces with the blood of the poor. For hunger is a crime in times of war and homelessness, and the refugee must take the blame for the shock and awe, for only the guilty would place their children beneath our bombs bursting in air and the rocket's red glare that is there to entertain us, to distract us from our own humanity, for having the audacity to wash up upon our shores like some dead fish with the tides, for in times of war and homelessness, with God on our side and the proper application of collective punishment, we may be blessed to even forget that they ever existed at all. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Getting joined by some more people. John Sturm is with us. Good to see you, sir. I got you on the open mic. Again, my apologies for those who are, I'm not stopping the video to take a nap. I'm stopping the video to just take bites of my tacos. Once you don't have to see me with my mouth full, I'll be fully engaged. I already am fully engaged. I'm enjoying the Stone Soup Crouton poem that's being formulated now. This is going to be a fun one to do. Let's see. Who do we have next? This one is going to be the first of our phone calls. Laurel Lambert, get yourself ready. I'm about to unmute you. Laurel and Carol, through secret means of technology, are here with us tonight. They're actually both sharing the same phone, even though they're not in the same room. Again, secrets of my technology, advanced technology system. Incidentally, the Boston Poetry Marathon is going to be coming back. So at least one of the people on this call will hopefully be part of that reading. I'm going to make some recommendations, but more on that later. Let's welcome up now, after I press the *6, Laurel Lambert.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laurel Lambert. My middle name is Lee, and I'm a poet and artist. I'm going to do one that I already wrote, and then I'm going to do one free form. The one that I already wrote is, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Thank you. There was a war, and you lived with only one scar, your gravestone. And what I'm about to do now is a free form. The dance never ends. Walking blindfolded, up a mountain. My dreams, rusty in my left pocket. I see the sun, and I wonder why. Because when I die, I'm going to live inside the sun. The colors are crying. The birds are silent. All is a dance. And today, the sky is blue. Thank you. Dad?
Thank you, Laurel.
Right,
Thank you very much. I'm going to start, I'm going to mute you just because sometimes my mic can leak through your phone. It's a little weird, but we are good to go. Thank you, Laurel. And now who do we have next on the open mic? I might as well bring up the next person. I'll keep you unmuted because let's see who's next. Yes, this is the one who performed last year's Boston Poetry Marathon. Even though she doesn't have a computer, we were able to have her joined by the magic of phone and video recording, and she was definitely one of the highlights of that year. The Boston Poetry Marathon is coming back again this year. It's going to be a 4-day affair from Thursday to Sunday, first week of August, weekend of August, I believe, and I'm going to make sure she's part of it too. Let's welcome up Miss Carol Weston.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is about the moment that we came to my mother and father to ask to be married. In shoes like that, you won't get anywhere in this world, my mother said. My broken down shoes could not walk into her perfect world. She had compassion for broken people around her. But how far below her were we? I gave her all of my faults, my mother told my future husband, John, the day we came to say we planned to marry. She lives a charmed life, my mother told him. I wonder how she does it, said my father, a little sarcastically. That's all, thanks.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Carol.
That's great, Carol.
Carol.
Okay, so let's see, who do we have next? Yes, we'll do the last of the phone calls. I didn't mean to I usually divide the phone calls a little bit, but I'm going to ask her to unmute. This is another one who's been with us almost since the very start of the pandemic series online. If she presses *6, she can read her poem next. It's Nancy Dotson. There you go.
Kindness. Charity's kindness pervades joy, not for gain, but to help one's neighbor forget ruination of yourself. Maturity a prize to catch, as in the net, kind friendships are caught and made eternally.
Thank you, Nancy. Now we're going to go back to our online callers. And I didn't ask him outright if he was going to do that, if he was going to read, but I do hope that Jim Dunn gives us a little bit of gives us a poem or two tonight.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thanks for joining us.
Good to hear you. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. This is for Carol, who I saw the other night. And this is for Carol Weston. 10/20/2020. On the morning of Arthur Rimbaud's 166th birthday, Tom Petty's 70th, a ternary day of 10s and 20s amidst the chaos and the clamor of these times. Rimbaud and his alchemy of the words seem to be a secret door to a poetry that can transform us, if not save us outright. From the empty vessel we now sail aimlessly upon, on troubled waters, searching the horizon for the magic words that unlock the secret prize of land undiscovered right under our feet. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jim. Okay, let's get to the next person on our open mic. And next one coming up, I'm glad to announce it's the orator extraordinaire, our reciter extraordinaire. Let's welcome up Mr. John Sturm.
Thank you, Chad. A medley of Richard III from William Shakespeare. I torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can murder and smile. Oh, well, let's try again. I torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile and murder whilst I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could. And like a Sinon take another Troy. I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it further off, I'll pluck it down. I that have neither pity, love, nor fear. Indeed, 'tis true that Henry told me of, for I have often heard my mother say, I came into this world with my legs forward. Had I not reason, think ye to make haste, and seek their ruin that usurped our right? The midwife wondered, and the women cried, Oh, Jesus bless us, he is born with teeth. And so I was, which plainly signifies that I should snarl and bite and play the dog. Then since the heavens have shaped my body so, let hell make crook my mind to answer it. I have no brother, I am like no brother. In this word love, which graybeards call divine, be resident in men and like one another, and not in me. I am myself alone. Clarence, beware. Thou keep'st me from the light, but I will sort a pitchy day for thee, for I will buzz abroad such prophecies that Edward shall be fearful of his life. And then, to purge his fear, I'll be thy death. King Henry and the prince his son are gone. Clarence, thy turn is next. And then the rest, counting myself but bad till I be best. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York, and all the clouds that lord upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass, I that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time unless to spy my shadow in the sun, descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul, here Clarence comes. Go tread the path that thou shalt ne'er return, simple, plain Clarence. I do love thee so, that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven. If heaven will take the present at our hands, I do the wrong and first begin to brawl. The secret mischiefs that I set abroach, I lay into the grievous charge of others. Clarence, whom I indeed have laid in darkness, I do beweep to many simple Gauls, namely Hastings, Derby, Buckingham, and say it is the queen and her allies that stir the king against the duke, my brother. Now they believe it, and withal whet me to be revenged on Rivers, Vaughan, Grey. But then I sigh, and with a piece of scripture tell them that God bids us do good for evil. And thus I clothe my naked villainy with old odd ends stolen forth of holy writ, and seem a saint when most I play the devil. But so, here come my executioners. So wrote William Shakespeare.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, Chad.
And who do we have next? Yes. Let's welcome up the fashionably late archivist at work, Patricia Kerrigan, who was last week's feature. Not content to rest on her laurels, she is back with us again to share more work. Also, if you're interested in submitting to Home Planet News, don't send to her. She is, I'll resend the information of who to submit to. But she is a working editor there. But more importantly, she's angry that she couldn't get boxes from a delivered today.
I just got it when I went downstairs.
You just got it. Awesome. Hooray.
Yes, I had to run back upstairs and I just put it together. It's here. You see it? My boxes. Yeah, finally got it. Okay. Okay, want me to read something? I'll read something. Okay, I just had my Chinese food. Hello? What happened?
We're here. Keep going.
Okay, I just got my Chinese food. I just finished it. Now, let me read. Oh, sorry. I'm going to read from the Cupcake Chronicles from Poetry at Prada. I should get off the, well. I can't do this. There it is, okay. Okay, here we go. Something that's very hot. Okay, anything that's. Thursday, July, this is supposed to be happening later this month. Thursday, July 22nd of this year, in the evening after 7. He knew his head wasn't in the clouds. Like the cotton fillers inside aspirin bottles, clouds were generally visions in white. Most of these puffy mounds were shades of cotton candy. He spotted a chocolate brown mound among the pastels. Choosing the chocolate, he collapsed into it as if it were a mattress. He had imagined clouds smelling moist, but his smelled sweet. It reminded him of freshly made frosting, waiting in a bowl, ready for finger tasting. His stomach grew eyes larger than the ones on his face. Once again, he was little Johnny back in his mom's Bayside kitchen. How he loved those Duncan Hines cupcakes, despite mom's claim that they could never duplicate the ultimate delight of the Ebbingers or Cushmans from her girlhood Flatbush days. She had just finished frosting the cupcakes and was handing him one. He was ready to bite into the thick, rich chocolate frosting, but a persistent tapping on his shoulder interrupted him. He woke up with his face pressed against the window. The steward smiled and apologized, holding a tray with one chocolate frosted cupcake. It looked just like the one from his dream. A chorus of somewhat inebriated folks in the first class broke into an off-key version of Happy Birthday. A plastic number 40 was buried in the frosting. Later, I kissed him and confessed to having arranged his little surprise with the airline. He wasn't thrilled by the advertisement of his chronological advancement. He had felt embarrassed, even lost his appetite for his beloved dessert. Had altitude mixed with alcohol tampered his mind? Or was it just age catching up to him? Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. And yes, and now I hope he's, yes, there he is. A little musical interlude from the one, the only co-founder of the Poets, is it the Poetry Garage? Am I misremembering it?
Garage Poets.
Garage Poets. Very good. I hope I can perform guest vocalist on that someday if we ever meet again. I hope we meet again. And I will shut up now and allow our musical interlude from the one, the only Ethan Mack.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, Garage Poet Ethan Mackler. Just another one of your many titles. uh, you can't hear it, but through my connection, Laura Lambert was wildly cheering for you. We have up next to close us out for the first part of this round robin. His column is going up tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock at oddballmagazine.com. Please check out oddballmagazine.com. Please consider submitting. We're especially looking for more political work. A lot of us are tired and exhausted after the last 4 years. So political work has gone down a little bit, but there's still a lot more to do. There's still a lot more to react to. There's, of course, a lot of more sites that you can submit to, the New Verse News. Host of, there's, I think, Poets Reading Newspapers. There's a lot of places, but Oddball, we do want to have that kind of reaction. We're accepting Pride themed works. We're accepting any kind of reaction to just what's going on. So consider that. We published some really good, nice COVID pieces, and someone who is not short of reacting, never without a response, is this man coming up. His column, It's All One Thing, is going up tomorrow, as it does every Thursday at 11 in the morning. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. And thanks for that list of the ways in which our poetic community is actually responding to the crisis in which we're living. And I would say I was just at the annual picnic of the anti-imperialist left, and they actually had an open mic, okay, that went on for over a couple of hours. So the reality is that all of these different ways in which people responded to what had happened in the late 60s and the early 70s, and then generated new forms of endeavor, are actually converging and are actually taking on each other's techniques and tools. So anyway, I want to read this poem here. It's called Shadows in the Walls. And here's how it goes. On a Sunday morning, the polar vortex cold, the Yahoo scrawl graced me with this red, white, and blue enigma, the leftover from previous night's wing night wild orgy, a blinking crisscross of platforms and ramps that form something I've seen before and quite recently, also on the internet, but previously on YouTube, where there, right before my eyes, held forth this winsome character of Dutch learning before the old fortified port, the remnant gate of Haarlem, Holland, my grandparents' ancestral hometown of many centuries. Fragment, lost almost. The port still preserves abstract form, left over. Leftover, it turns out, according to my video guide, it still preserves these abstract forms, even actually in the towering walls of the Grote Kerk, that is the great church. Yes, there are shadows of Hanseatic League, perhaps, embedded on the hinge pointed train from the Baltic Sea and all the way from the Black Sea up the Danube, through passes and down the Rhine River Valley, where once Hadrian built wood walls to mark the northern boundary of Rome, and the money economy displaces the people off the land to where precarious existence foments social ferment, the home of millennial pursuits and scapegoat cults, until far across the Western Sea in about 1,000 years of hard times, a 21st century version in a country that talks only of its own short history, just such a cult has taken the odal sound room, misappropriated by the Nazis in the last world crisis, and turned it into a set, a stage, a CPAC, supposed conservative convention, when clearly they're without conventions and have no respect for history or the past. And let me sing you a quick song. The people sit waiting, shit hits the fan, sewage in the harbor and the gutters are arching. Lost the poopy diaper down the old commode, the president's been sucked down the bathtub. Every dollar that wasn't nailed down turned our last 10 homes into the expensive part of town, transformed our jobs into part-time filling slots, left plenty of the money because there ain't no benefits. The thruway is crammed with fumes and heat. No one gets out, no one escapes the fleet. Don't drink the water, stockpile rice and beans, play them Monopoly games in the nuclear fantasy dreams. What comes round goes round, so don't swim back the dam. People get ready, people get ready. Get on, get on.
Thank you very much, James. We got one more. We got one more round to go. We're gonna go back to start. Some people have left us. Some people are still here. Most of you are still here. So I'm happy for that. And we're gonna go back to where we started, literally with the person who started us off for the open mic. Let's go back to David Miller.
Alrighty. Well, this one's, excuse me, fairly brief, and the title of this poem is a description of a writing exercise that I got in a workshop with Gloria Mindock about 3 summers ago, a one afternoon workshop, and she described the exercise as follows. Dialogue with a person in a previous poem of your own. So, hey pal, do me a favor. Depends, what? Hold my raccoons? They're yours, I don't want them, they'll scratch me. I have to go for a coffee and they won't let me in with raccoons. I'm not taking them, they have disease. Oh yeah? Do I look like I have disease? Maybe you do have disease, you've been holding raccoons. Are you insulting my love of nature? You keep the raccoons, I'll get the coffee, give me $2. I can't get my wallet holding these raccoons. Reach in my pocket and get my wallet. Put my hand in your pants. Put the raccoons down and get your wallet yourself. If I do that, they'll run away. Well, that would solve both of our problems.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Dave.
Yay.
Those damn
Well done.
raccoons. Those darn raccoons. Where I live now, I'm close to a nature center, so we have coyotes, or at least one. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. It has been sighted, just not seen yet. But I have seen the occasional turkey near our door. So that's
Where
fun.
are you?
I'm near Jamaica. I'm near the Jamaica Way. I'm actually kind of like on the outskirts of the Jamaica Nature Center, the Jamaica Plain Nature Center. So we're right next to there. So there's like wetland and wildlife where we are, where hopefully they won't be adding too many more houses because we like the quiet area. It's kind of nice hearing crickets again instead of the shooting exhaust from a number 11 bus in South Boston. But although that had its charms too. Let us move on to Jan Rowe, if she is so willing to read again.
At this time, I'm reading something from one of the people. She does her own book. She's a traditional kind of poet, Carol Jean Smith.
She's actually an old Stone Soup poet. She actually read back in the 70s.
Yeah, she's Peace Corps, Central America. Oh my God, can you imagine? Okay, this is called All Saints Day. We sold our jewelry and golf clubs. Then we went to the bank and withdrew all the money from our brokerage accounts. We took everything in cash. Then we threw all the money out the windows onto the streets. All the coins and the bills in smaller denominations, 5s and 10s and 20s and 50s. They blew down the sidewalks and into the alleys and under the cars. They blew across the park and into the wading pool. The coins just lay where they fell. There was a great scramble. Many people were able to buy lunch that day. Others could finally pay their rent. Someone said it was against the law to throw money into the streets. I had never heard that, but I did hear that several large banks in town closed down. It was a good day, but now we were poor too. What kind of life is this? What kind of life is this? Thank you, Carol Jean Smith.
Bravo, Jan. Bravo. And up next, let's see if Mark Lipman, you willing to come up for one more?
Sure. Thank you, Chad. Tell you what, I'll give you a poem that has never been read publicly before. This is in 3 parts. It's called The Greatest Nation. 1. When we close our eyes and dream of a nation that is the envy of every other, a place where freedom and justice truly reign, where the words life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are more than empty slogans, but a vision of something better than a world we were left with, not simply for ourselves, but for future generations, where there are no others, for all of us born from the very same mother, Earth, our only legacy, the only inheritance we have to give, a world that is fit for something more than just survival, but is a place where we can all prosper and live, where we embrace the very best of what is possible, just because we can, casting aside what's broken and failed while leaving no one behind. It's more than a question of just being kind, but of being responsible for our actions. Good morning, America. This is not the end, but just the beginning. This is where we shake the dust from our feet, sweeping aside an old corrupt system and backwards economy to finally build anew. We've reached a turning point. There is no going back. The dictator has no clothes. The status quo has been exposed. There's no putting it back in the bottle. As dark as it may all appear, the future is inevitable. 2. Where do you go once you've hit rock bottom? Once you've seen the ugly face of how bad it can get? If you're up to your neck in dirt, do you still keep on digging? Or do you climb out of the hole and find a better path? This is the question we've been asked and have been answered resoundingly, rejecting the past a nation has spoken. Though we may not see it all right now, and some will close their eyes, always refusing to acknowledge what they don't want to believe. Numbers don't lie. Too many eyes have been opened. Ideas will take hold, and with this pen, swords will be broken. With this ink, a future unfold. For we do not dream of reckless slaughter, of wars and profits and other such lowly ambitions, but of lifting up our sons and daughters, of leaving them a world worth living for, and the best of what is possible. 3. Close your eyes. What do you see? What is the best you can possibly be? It all depends on your motivation. The solution is what we make it, of where we place our time, our energy and resources, of which future we decide to invest in. It's really a simple matter. We choose to do better, to acknowledge the mistakes of the past, to commit to correcting our course, not just in words and cheap rhetoric, but in deeds and dollars and actions. We are only as good as our word and how we treat the weakest among us. The answers are simple and have been there right in front of us. It's just a matter of putting people and the planet ahead of the profits. What we look for cannot be found on any map, for it lives inside each of us, within our own potential. Look and you will see it, seek and ye shall find. The greatest nation there ever was has been right here all the time. It is our own imagination, the only limit of humankind. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Mark. Very happy with that. Let's, we got our trinity of phone callers next. I'm going to start with, first I'm going to unmute and Laura Lambert, if you're ready to read maybe one more piece, you can. If you want to pass, you can pass.
How do I unmute, Chad?
You want to read?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The river is dry. There is sand and pebbles at the bottom, but there is no fish. Alone, I stand tall with my shoulders back. I will wade in the river. I will sing to the birds as I wake up every morning. The bird song, morning dove. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Owl. Ooh, 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 ooh. No longer do I cry, for the river is dry. Alone I stand. I will walk through the meadow. I will see peace. P-E-A-C-E. Peace. P-E-A-C-E. Peace. P-E-A-C-E. And in the world, dance, dance, dance. In the heavens, they sang. And I sat down under an oak tree. Thank you.
Thank you,
Is there
Laura.
another one? Chad?
Sorry, we have some more people to do the round robin, Laurel. I think we're good. But if you want, coming up next is your phone buddy, so to speak. We have Carol Weston. Carol, if you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to do it by heart here. Let's see, I was 18. The crab. I spent the weekend with a hurt and halting crab. His claws extended ice cream cones to me. His eyes contained devotion and apology. Sea hair and slime were covering a tragedy. But all the time, the rocks were leaving him exposed. Dragging his books, he goes to dig new holes. Thank you.
Yeah!
Thanks, Carol.
Carol.
No!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Carol. And we're going to move on to our third and final phone caller, who I hope is here. Yes, she is. I'm going to ask her to press *6 to unmute. And we'll hear from Nancy Dodson next.
Joy. Joy means love. Riverbeds overflow with water. The sun sparkles with no melancholy. Pleasure simulates joy. Joy is the by-ordinance of life. My spirit has joy, and its currents abide within. Communicate life, responded love. Unconquerable gladness dwells within you. Joy.
Thanks, Carol. Nancy. Thank you, Nancy.
Great job, Nancy. Thank you. We have up next Here we go. Jim Dunn had to leave, but if John Sturm wants to orate again.
A poem from Emily Dickinson. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies, too bright for our infirm delight, the truth's superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind.
Thank you, Mr. Sturm. You know, I was thinking of you today. I know you probably have no idea what TikTok is. It's actually a video making software that, you know, most people like film pictures and film videos of other people dancing or themselves dancing. But there's been a more literary aspect of TikTok I didn't know about. And one of the TikTok channels, so to speak, is one of Patrick Stewart, who's just reading Shakespeare sonnets.
Wow.
I think his latest is 25. So I think that's pretty remarkable. I'll see if I can, I'm going to see if I can share a link later on tonight. Up next, I owe her apology because I'm getting bad at promoting poets. I'm going to be posting her PayPal later on tonight, and as well as a link to her new novel from Alien Buddha Press. Which is called Angel Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I remember things sometimes. That's her latest novel, and she also has a host of other poetry collections available. I'm going to be PayPaling you later on tonight, Patricia, but for now, and I hope other people do as well. So moving on, here is Patricia Kerrigan.
Okay, I'm going to read Political regarding our beloved insurrection, a capital offense. A quid pro quo threw knives into the government's heart. A coup to reinstate an orange plague almost happened. Combustion fueled by messianic idiocy used privilege to smash windows and attempt abduction of evidence for a nation's choice. But threats will not cease. Shutting down a malevolent man's Facebook or Twitter accounts will not end a war used as landfill to hide the truth for more than 4 years. A new Messiah will rise, carried a mob's banner that fell on the Capitol steps. We forget that this stolen nation was born from unrest, greed, and phobias. We are not safe when Black lives don't matter, when ICE puts shackles on brown wrists, when one person's God is the only God, when women's uteruses are no longer theirs, when people can't express their love for another, when age becomes a negative number, when the list for injustice keeps getting longer. The earth is dying as we speak. Shit happened in Europe. It can also happen here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And let's see who we have next. Ethan Mackler has declined to do a second round, so that means we go straight to the final poet of the evening. So it's without further ado that we bring ourselves to Mr. James Van Lloyd to finish.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a poem here called Our Lady in Flames in the Night. There was Notre Dame in flames on the TV. In St. Paul's Cathedral, former choir school, now a London hostel, where we just returned on the night of the first Extinction Rebellion, forcing us to walk halfway up Old Fleet Street to Trafalgar Square, so I could complete my maze vision by drawing in chalk the biggest ever revolution on the smooth, super smooth, so beautiful ancient stone in front of the National Museum, only to return to St. Paul's to find the church in Paris a torch in the black night of tall cities that blink out their stars, with the total light pollution of towers of condos and commerce, 21st century prophecy of only 1 year later, the world consumed by the fire of COVID-19, while the roof of civility is burning too in propaganda pandemic, conspiracy theories, and mad men with guns. Oh, yes, what a shocking show of foolish recklessness when we see the White House Rose Garden epicenter new judicial supreme mass lawlessness as viral spreader event. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul so high. You can't get over it so low. You can't get under it so wide. You can't get round it. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul. Rock my soul. Rock my soul. Oh, rock my soul.
Thank you, James. And with that, and with everyone else probably seeking shelter from the storm or just seeking shelter from the heat, it's time for us to bid everyone a fond adieu as I get ready to prep for more Stone Soup features. As I hope all of you come for the next few weeks. I'm going to have some amazing people coming up. As I said before, we have Andrew K. Peterson, past organizer of Stone Soup, of Boston Poetry Marathon. Sorry, he's going to be our feature next week. Our feature on the 28th is going to be Laura Kiesel, and hopefully I'll be able to announce one feature, hopefully either this month or next month, and a double feature for August. We have John Stickney coming in on August 11th. He's been confirmed. So I'm very excited for the people we have coming up here, and I hope more are going to come. I hope you guys keep on coming and spread the word. I hope for those of you who are regulars, the links were easy to find. I actually posted the links early on Monday, and I might try for Sunday because I've been finding out that people only see the links 2 to 3 days afterwards. My girlfriend, who has been tagged in them, has received notice of a post that I did like 3 days later, which is incredibly strange.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if I post it on Sunday, hopefully we'll get more of a count. Hopefully people won't be wondering where everything is. There's a lot going on. If you guys have anything you want to submit to Oddball, if you have any propositions of a micro feature in response to the world today, I'm going to be looking for voices for what's going on in Haiti, because we have Jacques Fleury, a friend of ours whose mother still lives there. And I have a friend who was trying to do some activist work there this summer. She's currently down in Texas waiting for a way to get in, but now that might not happen with the assassination of Haiti's leader. So it's going to be a hotbed from hell down there, I'm sure. But a lot of people might be talking about this, might have stuff to write in the next few weeks. But if you know of anyone and you want to pass on Oddball's forum, please do so from wherever you are, whoever they may be, spread the word. And above all, just keep writing, keep doing what you're doing. I'm glad everyone's staying busy during the pandemic. I'm glad everyone's staying active. And I hope to see maybe 1 or 2 of you for Dita Galloway's art exhibit on the 10th and the 11th. I think a lot of people are still going to be wearing masks, as we want to respect the older guests who are no doubt going to be there. So not including Dita and Roger themselves, who are, amongst the more immunocompromised age-wise. So even though I think everyone's gotten their shots, I think they're expecting that courtesy. I hope all of you are well. I hope you guys will indulge me in the final wave for tonight. And just something for the still shot at the end. And pause in midair, pause mid-wave, because otherwise, every time I do a screenshot, it looks like this. So thank you guys very much for coming tonight. And thank you guys for your patience and dealing with the issues, and stay safe out there.
Thanks, Chad.
Still freaking
Thank you,
crazy.
Chad.
Stay sane and see you next week, I hope.
Keep cool.
I shall.
I kept AC off.
Yeah, and stay dry, everyone on the East Coast.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah. We're having these damn storms, yeah.
Take care of yourselves and
Bye.
take care of someone
Good
else.
night, everyone.
See you around.
Good night, everybody. Peace out.